Hi, I'm Chris Montera here this week with the Ferno weekly blog, and today we're joined by Pete Sansone. Pete, how you been?
I'm great, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing well. So Pete, tell us a little bit about your background. Where'd you come from, and how did you get to Ferno?
Yeah, actually, I worked for a company called Cintas for about 4.5, 5 years. And I had a mutual friend of mine, his name is Jason Fenn over at Zoll, actually introduced me to Ferno. He's actually in the medical industry, came from Cintas, so have very similar backgrounds. I thought it'd be a great opportunity. So one thing kind of led to another. I was put in touch with Chris Cleves, and one thing, like I said, led to another, and here we are. So it's been about 3.5 years, and couldn't be happier.
And what's your position there?
At Ferno, I'm a regional sales specialist, and I actually cover the states of Missouri, Kansas, and Nebraska.
Wow. So I've talked to Chris Turner, and I've also talked to Campione, and they both kind of talked a little bit about their experience dealing with customers. So we'll talk about that in a minute, but tell me what draws you to working at Ferno. We've been talking over the past few weeks on the video blog about how, and at least my experience at Ferno has been, you guys are really family oriented. What's been your experience there?
Well, one of the reasons why I took this position was because I wanted to be able to make a difference, as far as being able to have the ability to save lives. Now, we're not out there necessarily making, emergency calls or things like that, but certainly being able to provide our customers with the certain equipment that could make their job certainly easier. Maybe they could save a life here or there, and that's ultimately one of the big reasons why I took this position. So, the interaction with customers within this industry is phenomenal. This is an industry where people help people. So naturally, there's not a whole lot of times where you're going to walk into somebody's door and they're going to kick you out. And as somebody in sales, you can certainly appreciate that.
That's really cool. And it's pretty funny because I had Jerry Sosha from Ferno sent me a video of a lot of people, a lot of employees talking about that exact thing, that they're so happy that every day they get to make products that matter, and and it's not just about making products, they feel like they're a part of saving people's lives. And I think that's kind of cool when you look at a company like that and the long history that's there, and they still have that kind of that core value. And everybody's also talked a little bit about the family atmosphere, and that was something else that kind of took me back a little bit, is just how cool it is. So describe to me what it's like from your perspective to deal with customers, and how quickly you get to interact with them.
Well, Chris, the most important thing that I do on a regular basis is just listen to my customers. In sales, too often we get caught up in what we want to do and what we want to try to sell, and it can make your life a hell of a lot harder than it needs to be. This just basic 101 sales is just listen to the customer and what do they need. So, just going out and interacting with them. One of the things that's somewhat challenging within our industry and trying to sell is that you don't have an EMS service about every 5 blocks that you can stop into. So there is a little bit of travel time between stops. But when you start to get into the metro areas, it is a little bit easier to try to stop in and just to say hello. Just calling on these guys and finding out what they have, just listening to what they need, finding out if they're experiencing any difficulties, any injuries, things like that, and matching the solution with the need.
Very cool. So the experience has also been with the power tracks. We've been talking a lot about that lately. It seems like it almost sells itself, but what has been the customer reaction from within your region?
Well, even you and I, we did this blog out in Vegas at EMS Expo, and we had the power tracks out there, and I can tell you that just even at the expo there, people were just blown away by the innovation there. For the last 5 years, since this chair's come out, a lot of people have said that this is the best innovation in EMS. So having the ability with the track chair, and I'm talking about the manual chair at this point. So, and people kept on saying, man, this manual chair is awesome, but if you guys could create a situation where if we were in a lower level or in a basement and didn't have to worry about trying to kill ourselves going upstairs, with some type of power device, man, you guys would really have something. So, man, we've come a long way with this product. It's this is a game changer for us. And you said it, at the get-go. It's a product that really sells itself. And obviously being in sales, that's you couldn't have a better music to your ears is having a product that is very, very simple to sell. So again, it's all about making it easier for these guys to save their injuries and save their patients, and it's all about timing, as you know. So it's a great product. I'm very excited to be able to sell it.
Have you had, switching gears a little bit to a different product, have you had any interest or reaction to the Mondial?
You know what, I have. It is a little bit more of a niche product, Chris, and our market here is not necessarily used to the independent style of stretcher. Now, we have the coroners will come out all the time and take bodies out and things like that, and you guys will walk up, hey, you need any assistance, things like that, and no, I got it, don't worry about it. So it's just really, it's kind of funny that, from a death care standpoint, that type of technology, as far as the independent leg, is what we've known for a long time. It just hasn't really integrated into the EMS industry, and for what reasons I'm not sure. But it's going to take some time for people to kind of get used to that idea on a manual standpoint. I can tell you right now that I've got an evaluation going on with the largest service in my territory, and they've come into Ferno on a VIP, and they took a look at pretty much everything that we had, and they really liked what the Mondial had to offer. You get a lot of the same benefits as a power cot, except at a lower price. So, it's a niche product. I did just actually have a sale a week ago for a service here that's working with an ambulance manufacturer here in Missouri for a Sprinter chassis. So, it's a great product. Again, it's a little bit more of a niche product, but it's very exciting at the same time.
Well, it's interesting you say that it's like, I guess it does have that same experience as a power cot, but not only is it's not powered, but it's lighter weight. I mean, you're talking almost half the weight of a power cot, and it's functional. We have one at our service, and I absolutely love it. I think it's
right.
I think it's the wave of the future. I think it's the way we need to go as an industry, and it saves backs, and it's great. It's really a great product. So you said that you took one of your customers to the VIP as a VIP. Are you talking about the customer experience center in?
You got it.
Cool. And what was their reaction to that? That's pretty awesome.
Well, these guys have, it was funny because they had actually taken a trip to Ferno, I would probably 25, 30 years ago. Some of the guys were involved, and just to see some of the changes that have taken place, certainly being able to go around and do a plant tour, it's very refreshing for these guys. And then to see the customer experience center, I mean, that's, you've seen it. It's fantastic. Just the small details from the different types of ground, from pavements to having some curbs and things like that in there, and having the big murals on the wall as far as the Cincinnati background. But the experience that they had was, again, second to none. I believe that they were a little bit blown away. They didn't quite expect what they got. So and I've been able to formulate a fantastic relationship with the customer, and they're very dedicated at coming our direction. It's been a tremendous experience for them.
Cool. Well, and I agree with. I think that's really been my perspective on the customer experience center, is that Ferno really cares about their customers to want to put that time and effort and energy into something like that. So, any last thoughts on this week's blog before we part ways?
No, I mean, I tell you what, I'm just excited for what their future holds for our company. We talked about the family-oriented business. It's nice to be able to put your piece on and your take on a couple of things. What we say, especially in the field, does matter, and that's what this industry is all about. It's an ever-changing industry, and we've got to be able to meet the needs and demands of our customers. So that's one of the nice things about having a small company with people who've got the very similar beliefs and goals in mind, and it's been just a pleasure to work at Ferno. I can't wait for what the future holds for us.
Cool. So Pete, right below you here, we're going to put in your email address. So tell people how they can get a hold of you if they want to, if they're in your territory or whatever, and they want to speak to you a little bit more about a Ferno product.
Sure. Yeah, again, I cover the states of Missouri, Kansas, and Nebraska, and my email address is my first initial P dot my last name Sansone, Sansone at ferno.com. And certainly you can check us out on the internet too at fernoems.com. So if you got some questions about certain products, you want to look at some specs, things like that, it's a great resource. And certainly there's some other value added tabs on that website that you can take a look at to find out some more information. So check us out.
Cool, very cool. And you're a better pitch man than me, so I'll just sign off from there. My name's Chris Montera, and this is the weekly Ferno Facebook blog, and I'm joined by Pete Sansone. Thanks a lot, Pete. I appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it, Chris.